some questions. We got some people in the chat. So, you know, a lot of people wanted to hear from you and get an update. And I've been talking about how the markets overall, you know, over the last 12 to 18 months has been a struggle since 2021, when everything seemed to, you know, hit all-time highs, you guys included. You know, I talked about how in 2020, when you guys got started at 41 cents, TAAT was one of the biggest success stories. You know, it went from 41 cents to $7. Investors had an opportunity to make a 15x. And then the market turned, and most small caps across the board, with the exception of some, you know, maybe some lithium stocks, some gold, some companies, you know, ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, oil and gas, that had good years last year. Most small caps across the board in crypto and NFTs in 2022 had a major retraction. So it's across the board. It's been one of those things where it's across the board. And, you know, a lot of investors now want to get an opportunity to just speak with you and hear from you, hear from TAAT, and just kind of get an update on, you know, what's going on with the news today, and just get an overall update on what's going on with the company.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So, hey, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you're right. In you know, the general sense on what's going on with the public markets. I think, you know, maybe some of your listeners, some of the people that have heard me talk in the past, I'm not overly focused on the stock. I'm really like one of the key operators in the business. And so, you know, our heavy focus has been being the pioneer of that new product category beyond tobacco. That's where we've been focused, and that's where we focused our marketing resources, our sales resources, where we've acquired major accounts, like you've seen in other press releases, like Buc-ee's, and, you know, through these FOA franchises with 7-Eleven and so forth. And we've learned a lot about the beyond tobacco space. So one of the key things going into 2023 was like our strategy as a company moving forward. What we learned about the beyond tobacco space is that there is a market for a non-nicotine cigarette, and it's very similar. It's a very similar market to that of like O'Doul's or Heineken Zero. So if any of you guys watching this have paid attention or read some articles on like alcohol-free beer market, it's very similar type of consumer, but figure in the tobacco side for TAAT Beyond Tobacco. So our goal, you know, has been internally is to get to a percentage of overall cigarette sales. Is that beyond tobacco, especially with the drive towards alternatives, where we see this growth in vaping, we see this general decline in tobacco cigarette consumption, yet you see a 20% growth in OTP, which is like Zen pouches and other types of nicotine deliverables. Then you have this big move of people that want to get off of nicotine, and nicotine's a hell of a drug. And so TAAT has a place on the back wall, but we're very realistic with what it's going to take, similar to that of O'Doul's, where it takes decades to get this almost alcohol-free beer out to the market, into every bar, into every gas station. It takes time. And some of the obstacles that, you know, we've ran into on the distribution side is, you know, that the product contains CBD. Even though it tastes like tobacco, smells like tobacco, because it tastes or has CBD in it, it causes issues with some of the, for example, like Chevron gas. So if we have a big deal with a big gas station chain, Chevron has their own policies on CBD. So there's a lot of, we know that we're on the right side of history, but with TAAT, we have to continue to kind of knock down walls of, you know, people that don't necessarily understand the product or what it is. But what we can see is that it's a solid percentage of tobacco cigarette sales. And so, so with that said, it's going to take time. So we've kind of put some of our systems and strategy and people on continuing the sale of TAAT in the way that we have, continuing the push to expand, you know, new gas station chains, but we also want to increase sales this year. And so that's a big reason why, if you read the press release that came out today about the Jayvees brand, why we're expanding into this category is because these products don't require a tremendous amount of marketing resources, and they are profitable. And they really do help a lot of people in different ways. And so we are looking at, we already have these 3,000 stores. What can we do to change them from, $50 per store per month on average to $1,250 per store per month on average? And so that's what we're doing with the Jayvees line. I'm not sure if in that press release they have pictures or things like that, but just so everyone can see, I don't know if you guys can see these or not.
Yeah, we can see perfectly.
Great. This is an example of some of the
Oh, we may have lost Joe there. Hopefully he can join us again here. I think we lost Joe there. Hopefully he can just join us again. I don't know what happened there, but we may have lost Joe Deighan, and hopefully he can just join us again here shortly. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat, guys. I see your questions are coming in. I'm going to do my best to ask all these questions. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, T-Dot. Thank you, Crypto Man. Thank you, Mateo, for your questions. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Rich, can you talk about your purple line? Yeah, put your questions in the chat, guys, and I'll do my best to ask all of these questions. I don't know what happened to Joe. Maybe his phone died or his internet connection might have went out. But hopefully he can join us here shortly and get back on here. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please put in the chat. Do we see 15 packs each day flying over the shelves each day inside the revenues? How about Canada? A lot of people waiting. Yeah, I know we're waiting in Canada for TAAT to get into Canada. I know that that's something that TAAT really wants. And I think the issue there, and Joe was just saying, the issue is that there is CBD in the product, and Health Canada is being really difficult with regulating products that have CBD in it. So I know that that's been one of the issues with Health Canada. So hopefully Joe will jump back on and we'll be able to ask Joe about that, and hopefully he can give us an update on that. Any new staff sales been hired? How is going with Buc-ee's, 7-Eleven and Co? A lot of companies with weak balance sheets will collapse. What about TAAT? Do they plan to do with the break-free app? Will the VIP membership be offered, or will the online store be linked? Is TAAT similar story to the cannabis story? Will the smoke shops sell CBDs in Canada? And are they in smoke shops in the USA? Great questions, guys. And hopefully Joe can join us again. And when he does, I'll do my best to ask all those questions. In the meantime, if you have any questions about TAAT Global Alternatives, please put it in the chat. And the founder of the company, Joe Deighan, hopefully will join us again. Oh, I think he's there. Here we go. Hey, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about that.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah, that is my bad. So I had to
Your phone die?
no, actually the internet. They're
Oh, the
actually
internet. Yeah,
yeah,
that stuff happens.
they're actually changing.
Technology, right?
No, it's yeah, no, I looked and then I went to my email. I'm like, yeah. So I actually thought it was on your side, and then I'm disconnected from everything. And anyways, so
Yeah, no, we've been on YouTube this whole time. We're still getting some questions rolling in.
yeah.
The last thing you were saying is that you were having some issues because there's CBD in the product.
Well,
That was your
yeah,
last thing you mentioned.
so it's all signs point green. Everything's opening up, right? So like a
Yep.
major distributor. So just so that like everybody understands, I'll kind of go big picture here for a second. Say 150,000 convenience stores. That's like the primary place where people buy tobacco cigarettes in the US. About 45% of those stores are major kind of corporate chains. The other 55% are independently owned. And about 60% of all of the distribution is through about 3 companies. So I'm just trying to kind of emphasize that on the TAAT side, you know, the CBD is a really important ingredient. It's something that helps nicotine addicts with withdrawals. So like, I don't want to downplay the significance of that as an ingredient in the product. And so it's very important to be there. That's what really helps people. But you know, there are some issues that we have with distribution companies that just won't touch it. It's similar to banks, even though it's federally legal. If you go to a Wells Fargo or a Chase to say, I want to start a, say some sort of CBD company, they'll deny you from opening up a bank account there, even though it's federally legal. So we see it going in the right direction, but it's an obstacle as we continue to build more and more distribution. But we've had a lot of success, and reorders are picking up for us this year. So that's really exciting. I think obviously, you know, we've done a good job marketing the product. It's been out in the market long enough. So, you know, with TAAT, that's a lot of the same, but I think right before you lost me, we had shifted over to Jayvees.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then what I was saying about Jayvees is going into this year, we have 3,000 stores and growing. So as we continue, TAAT's a great lead. A lot of people want to carry it. We're able to open up new distribution. A great way for us to capitalize is to sell more than just the TAAT SKUs, is to expand the SKUs that we're selling. And so that's what we're doing. I don't know when you lost me, but that's why we're coming out with the Jayvees product. So these are single serving chocolates, but we're also looking at expanding into the back wall with other Delta type products. So this is a hemp and CBD product, less than 0.3% THC by weight basis. But we say one bite will get you right. So these will, you know, these are great to help people with sleep and other things, but this is something that people come back for every day. Kind of like they come back to the gas station for a tall boy.
Yeah.
Single serve. This is something that they come back for every day.
Very nice. Yeah, that's where we actually left you. We were just showing the product and it froze there. So that actually was good because everyone could see the product really nice.
Nice.
And seems like you guys have had a lot of developments over the last little while. You guys had a lot of news that's been coming out. We're getting a lot of questions about that. A lot of people trying to get updates on, you know, where the company's at. Can you talk a little bit about the company's revenue right now? Because is it true you guys are doing about 100 million a year right now?
Yeah. So everyone's kind of clear too. So yes, that's what we're doing. What I focus on though is the product development side. So like when I show you these products, like I really would emphasize, soon we'll be selling on jayvees.com. So a lot of people can go out there and try them out. I'm really on the product development side. And so my goal for the company is to come out with you know, high selling products that are branded, you know, nice, that taste awesome, like these peanut butter bites. And I mean, we're selling through a whole 35 count bins in single stores in Ohio right now. You know, big distributors in North Carolina and in Iowa already for this product. We've already gone through just in this last few days, 1,400 pounds of chocolate. So like I'm emphasizing that like this is a product that sells outstanding. So where I focus the company is to come out with these products so that the distribution arm of our company, which is where we do a lot of that revenue. So the 100 million is in that area, is to increase the profitability and provide more alternative products through that channel.
Yeah, I mean, 100 million. I remember when we started talking and the company was just getting started. And I remember when you guys got your first million in revenue to now hit 100 million a year in revenue. That's a pretty big milestone, you know, for a small company that's just getting started. So congratulations on, you know, being at that level. And because I know there's a lot of shareholders are coming in now, they're asking a lot of questions, they're asking for updates. When we first started talking, I remember talking about TAAT before you guys ever sold a product. You know, and can you talk a little bit about your product line now? Like, can you talk a little bit about all the different products that you have that you're selling and where? Because I know you guys are doing international business. Can you kind of give us an update on, since you're doing all the products, maybe all the different products that you're selling and where you're selling them?
So some of the products that we're coming out with, someone just be kind of handy on Google here on the side. I'll go through briefly and kind of explain them.
Sure.
So we are, of course, we have TAAT. We have our full flavor, our light, and our menthol. Those are king size cigarettes. So your traditional pack of cigarettes, 26 to a pack. And then we have our TAAT 2s, menthol original smooth. Those 2 packs are really for consumer trial because TAAT is a phenomenal product, but we have to get people to try the product. And so the 2 packs, they sell outstanding. They actually outscan the packs, and it makes sense because $1 you can get 2 smokes. It's almost like buying Lucy's, which was a billion-dollar industry in its own right here in the U.S. A lot of it outlawed to buy loose cigarettes now, but with TAAT being not a tobacco product, we can do that. And then we have our Jayvees chocolate. So this is the kind of the birth of the Jayvees brand and product line. We really sell what it is, so we don't put JV oversize on these products, but it's very clean, simple, quality, trusted. We have our chocolates. 1 bite will get you right. And then we also have a variety of gummies that we're coming out with. So we have a 2-pack gummy, 5-pack gummy. Those are also, it's a hemp and CBD product. They contain about 10 milligrams of Delta-9 THC per gummy, less than 0.3% THC by weight, derived naturally from hemp. And then we're also looking at, there's a really effective cannabinoid that especially helps with sleep. It's called HHC, in which we're looking to come out with other HHC products as well. And so that is making up what we're doing now with Jayvees is, say some of the people listening to this, if you go to a gas station, you look back on the back wall and you see Juul, what you're going to start to see in the future is a variety of hemp-derived Delta products that are on the back wall. We see it as a massive opportunity. We know the numbers, we see what it is. And so we're really laser focused on imagine rather than just 3 slots on the back wall, is to get a full rack of these other Delta type products in these gas stations.
Wow, that's interesting. Getting a lot of questions about if you'll ever get a strawberry flavor.
Yes, we will have a strawberry flavor. Yeah.
Nice. Very good. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat. I'll do my best to ask Joe any of the questions you guys have. They're asking if the chocolates have a creamy center.
Yeah, so the peanut butter bites do.
Okay.
Yeah, the peanut butter bites do. And the milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and cookies and cream, they do not. They are just full chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have a red raspberry, pineapple, and a watermelon gummy. We will also have a blue raspberry, golden apple, and pomegranate, HHC gum.
I like pomegranate. That'll be really good. My question is, will these be available in Canada? Because I know that there's a lot of questions here about the products going into Canada. So I know that some of the issues in the past has been because Health Canada has issues with CBD. Are you guys able to do anything yet in Canada? Can you give us an update on that?
So Canada is a little bit challenging for us. They have their legislation is really all cannabinoids, so they don't really differentiate between hemp and cannabis like we do here in the U.S. And so, in order to work in Canada, we'd have to structure a deal with like a Canadian entity that has the licensing and the distribution. And so, until we do something like that, we probably will not be entering the Canadian market.
Okay. And how long will it take to buy TAAT 0 and HNB?
So TAAT 0 is an interesting one. Heat not burn, we're watching the market. So we don't see a big market for it today. I think anybody listening to this can probably tell if you have any uncles or friends or grandmas or grandpas or brothers or sisters, are they using an HNB product? And I bet most people would say, oh, wait, that's a good point. I haven't seen anybody really using it. I will say that I do think it's going to be a significant part of the tobacco space in the future. I see, obviously, if anyone's paid attention to what's going on in California with the banning of menthol cigarettes, I think all combustible cigarettes at some point are going to share in the same fate, tobacco cigarettes. And then I think heat not burn will become a very significant nicotine delivery method. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are ready, and we are. We've built good relationships, and we've built good understanding around it. So I do believe it will be part of our future, but right now we're just going to pay attention to what's going on in the market. There's not tremendous demand for it today.
Okay. Thank you for that. And has there been any offers for a buyout yet? And would you consider it in the future if the offer ever comes?
Yeah, I think anybody has, if it made sense, of course. If there was something where we could expedite distribution significantly with the product and it was a win-win, of course. I mean, that's the mission, is to get this product, is TAAT, is to help millions of people go beyond nicotine. And like, the thing is like, we've seen it in like really powerful ways work for a lot of people. We have single customers on trytat.com that order religiously, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of subscriptions, and people that don't miss their shipments. And so, yeah, if there was a deal with somebody where we can, especially if we can exponentially grow the revenues through distribution with the right company, then absolutely.
We have some feedback from Ron Hole. He says he loves his TAATs. He's been smoking them for 2 years. He does say that some of them he feels like he has to push really hard and deep to get the amount of smoke to satisfy. Can you talk a little bit about the TAATs and kind of where you are with your production? Are you happy right now with, I know you've made some changes over the years with the product. Are you happy with it now? Are you still making changes? Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah. So, all right. So I appreciate that. So I'm actually sitting here and, I go through all of the testing on our products. This won't look like the actual TAAT product, but my desk is covered in, from our R&D department, different iterations. And I think really what he's saying is, and I know exactly what he's saying, it's a very smooth cigarette. So somebody that's used it for years, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very, very smooth, very smooth. And a traditional tobacco cigarette has a lot more of a throat kick. And so that's something that we have worked on, is finding maybe an alkaloid that can give a sensation that's similar to that of nicotine. Nicotine is definitely a heavy contributor of that throat kick. And I do think we have something that's really, really exciting, but I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it right now. But we do have something that's really mimicked. So rather than having to take such a long, hard pull to have that fullness or that throat kick that a tobacco cigarette will give you, I do believe that we have something that's really close to almost finishing off the final touch to make it, the sensation almost feel like a nicotine cigarette. But I know people are both ways. A lot of people love the smoothness of them. The way they smell is better. It's, there's a lot of benefits to TAAT, like the way that it is currently. But I'm probably similar to that guy where like, I used tobacco for a lot of years. I like that throat kick.
Yeah, like I'm not a smoker, but I've tested the TAAT myself and I thought it was really smooth.
Mhm.
And as a person that's a non-smoker, I could like it didn't like you said, it doesn't have that sticky, stinky cigarette smell that stays on you,
Yeah,
which I think is really good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't smell as bad as cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was really smooth, like to pull it. Like I used to smoke years ago, and cigarettes make me. The reason I quit like many years ago is because they make me nauseous, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever felt that way if you're a cigarette smoker, or non-smoker, and you've tried a cigarette, it makes you kind of maybe feel a little nauseous. I never got that when I smoked the TAAT at all, but I still felt like I was smoking a cigarette and still had the kind of same taste of the cigarette, but it didn't have that stinky smell where I have a lot of friends that are smokers and they'll go outside for a cigarette and they come in and you literally like the whole room smells like cigarettes. It doesn't have that. It doesn't stick on you. That's something that I think is pretty unique. So one of the questions here is, now you have a lot of other products. Is TAAT still going to be the focus? Is that going to still be your number one driving sales product? Or are you now looking to drive sales from a combination of products? Like what's your strategy now moving forward as far as how you're going to drive sales? Because you have a lot of other products now. Yeah,
well, I mean, TAAT will still be our number one focus. Like the potential of Beyond Tobacco is so significant, like it can't be. And then on top of that, to going into 2023, to have the increase in reorders from existing customers, the way that they have over the last, say, 12 months to 18 months that it's been there, is significant. It's just being the first mover in a new product category. It takes time. Like somebody just chimed in and they've been smoking the cigarettes for 2 years. And I bet through word of mouth, it's also introduced other people to the product as well. So TAAT will still be our number one priority and focus. But we're on that back wall. And so a great way for us to capitalize is to sell more than 3 products. And so that's what we're doing, is all the existing relationships and customers that we service anyways, is to expand the amount of products that we service.
So, so there's a lot of investors in Germany, and some of them are coming into the chat. Many of my colleagues are using HNB products from IQOS. There is already a big market in Germany for it. Any feedback on that?
Yeah, there is a bigger market in Europe. Europe is definitely a different market than here in the US. So we are looking into it. We have obviously like a lot of tech and relationships that surround the heat not burn. We're interested in it and the future of it, but not any time. Like right now, I couldn't give a date on when potentially we're going to enter that market. The European market is more appealing than the US market, though. We've definitely identified that. Yeah, that would be my answer on that.
Yeah, one thing I've learned about Europe is people still smoke a lot of cigarettes in Europe.
Yeah.
Like a lot. So there's definitely a huge market in Europe. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, where is TAAT doing business right now? Which countries? Can you talk about that? Or where do you guys plan to expand in the future?
Yeah, so primarily the UK. We've had some conversations with a major distributor out in Belgium that services France as well. Primarily the UK, though. That's kind of been our primary push, which we've done really well in the UK. And just like anything else, there's some to export the product and get it on the back wall, and there's a lot of confusion. Like there's a lot of packaging in the UK, for example, that's all green, that has pictures of lungs, and then we're on the back wall standing out. We're bright, green and blue and red. And so we've had, the customs come down a couple different times and ask questions and think that it's a tobacco product and so forth. And, but we've done really well in the UK. So that would be our primary market. And then yeah, Belgium and France, but we need to open that up still.
The question here is, how big was your first batch of the Jayvees production?
The first batch was about 700 pounds of chocolate. That's kind of how we say it internally here. That was the first batch.
Okay. And can you give us an update on the ADCO website and branding TAAT via the ADCO building?
I don't have any updates on that.
Okay.
I was on the phone with Pat a little bit ago, but we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, I just have a lot of questions coming from lots of different peoples.
Yeah,
Do you have any updates on patents? I know you guys have a lot of patents you guys have been working on. Do you have any updates on your patents?
Nothing new from, we do have good IP around our base cigarette material. I think a lot of your listeners know that that's like highly valuable. We're the only company in the world that has this base cigarette material that tastes like tobacco. And so, but nothing new on that front.
Any new sales staff being hired or any new teams that you're working on hiring for the company right now?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that we're doing is all day is, I've already had 4 of those calls today, is the kind of hype and training and pricing and everything that's around the Jayvees product that we're taking to the market. That's been a big focus, is to make sure that our sales team is equipped to, present the product and take it out there. It's a great opportunity for us to also open new doors with TAAT, because we can, bring this product in potentially and then upsell later with TAAT. And so it's is making sure that our sales teams are equipped and ready to go. Yeah.
Fantastic. And can you give us an update on Buc-ee's, 7-Eleven, and Co?
And Co?
That was the question. Or
Oh,
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven and Company?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, Buc-ee's is doing good. I think maybe we talked about it or maybe we didn't, but we definitely, value our relationship with Buc-ee's. We appreciate their ownership. They've got a great company. Really enjoyed getting to know them better. It's impressive. So anybody that's listening that's been to a Buc-ee's, it really is one of the most incredible convenience stores in America. They're sold, if anybody doesn't know, TAAT is sold at all 34 Buc-ee's in Texas. And they're also very helpful to us. So I think something that's really cool about Buc-ee's is they recognize the value of Beyond Tobacco, and they've really helped and supported us in getting that message out there. So running promotions, for example, not for example, like charging us an arm and a leg, but their ownership says, we believe in this product and we believe it helps people. And so we're willing to do these, say, 2-pack promotion. And so that's a really cool thing that they've done to help support the brand and then also get it into tens of thousands of people's hands in Texas. So everything with Buc-ee's is going outstanding. And then, after we get that much consumer trial, tens of thousands of people are handed the 2-packs. It's definitely upticked the sales with Buc-ee's. And then 7-Eleven is 7-Eleven. It's a little bit of a challenge due to the distribution. We have to do a lot of independent distributors. And if anybody knows the convenience world, it's hard to set up all these new vendors with kind of different small onesie, twosie 7-Elevens. But we're still servicing the 7-Elevens. It's just we have to go through independent distributors.
Yeah, I can see that being a lot of work to get that going. And question here is, can you give us an update on the development of the Break Free app and when is it expected to release?
Yeah, so we'll have someone else update you on that one. I'm probably not the best person to update you on any of the tech stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are pretty much the questions that I have so far. If anyone has any other questions, please put it in the chat. I'll do my best to ask all the questions that everybody has. Is there anything else you want to talk about while we're live? Anything else you want to give us an update on, or that you want to talk about?
No, I'd say Jayvees.com, Jayvees.com. The website will
That's your hat you're wearing, right? You're wearing the hat right now.
Yeah. We got the Jayvees on.
It looks good.
Yeah, thank you. So definitely check it out. I will tell you guys, one bite will get you right. So keep that in mind.
I like that slogan. That's a good slogan.
There is a sincerely like sold out now on the third order. We've got more in production right now. That's just on the chocolates, let alone everything else that we have going on. So it's energizing, I think, for the company to kind of expand, to start doing some other things. I think it brings in a new energy and a new flow within a company. And so I think everybody here, that's what we felt, going into 2023, is this kind of like renewed energy to be creative on a different, after TAAT's been developed and executed like flawlessly, the product is outstanding and everything's gone to the market. It's we can see it's at a market kind of like Heineken Zero, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be a percentage of total cigarette sales, but then it's just kind of sales and marketing. So for me as a product developer, that's why I love this. That's why I'm really emphasizing for people to try it. Is you'll see what I'm saying after you take a bite.
That's amazing. And any updates on, would you guys get into beverages?
Yeah, potentially. If depending on how it's packaged, how it's priced, and what it is. We've looked at even detox, other forms of beverages that there's a big market, a lot of opportunity, but not really sold at convenience. So we're really looking at ways to differentiate, to kind of bring in products that you wouldn't normally see at convenience, packaged up in the right way. Think about like, what did 5 Hour Energy do that was different? A lot of people have energy, but what did they do that was different? And then you'll start to think like we are with Jayvees. How can we package it different? How can we change it from maybe $20 for 10 to $2 for 2, packaged up in the right way with an absolutely can't say no. And after they try it, are they going to come back and buy it? And so, anyways, but I do appreciate the time. Thank you, Rich. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'm happy to answer more.
I don't have any other questions. Can you maybe just give us an update on how things are going with the new CEO, maybe, and just talk about, maybe how that's working, your working relationship with the new CEO with the company. Just an update on that.
Yeah. So yeah, Saxon's been great. He's over the public company side, out of Canada, just so everyone kind of has the clarity. I'm on the US side out of Vegas. I focus primarily on product development. And then Saxon, he focuses more on the public company side. It's been awesome working with him. He's definitely a very sharp person. He's very, very smart guy. And I think good at managing the company too. He's very hands-off, very simple, likes everybody to flow and do their things. So he's not, he's not real micromanaging. And that's good. And then, we have a good system of communication between us. So him and I, we meet, once a week. We talk about everything that's going on, challenges, things like that. And so right now I've really enjoyed working with Saxon. I'd have nothing but good things to say about him.
Great.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Joe Deighan, the founder of TAAT Global Alternatives. Hopefully we've been able to answer a lot of your questions. And if there's anything else you want to leave investors, shareholders, customers with TAAT Global Alternatives today, Joe, what would it be? Before we say goodbye.
TryTAAT.com, Jayvees.com. One bite will get you right.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much. Joe Deighan, the founder of TAAT Global Alternatives. Have a great day, Joe. Thank you for your time today, and I hope to speak to you again soon, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. This is Rich from Rich TV Live. Remember, if you're not winning, you're not watching. We love to bring you the winners. We love to bring you the news, CEO interviews, founder interviews, analysis, and we love to bring it to you first. Remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything we talk about or discuss here on Rich TV Live. Past performance is not always an indication of future results. We've been talking about TAAT since it was pre-IPO at 41 cents. We've seen TAAT go as high as $7. It was a 15x for investors. Hopefully you took your profits and you got an opportunity to win big with TAAT. Now it's back to kind of, it had a nice day today, up 11%. It's back to those IPO levels. So we're really kind of trying to decide now. I know a lot of investors are asking, is now the time to get into TAAT? So I'd love to know your feedback, love to know what you guys think. Please, if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, please put it in the chat. You can comment on this video. If you have any questions at all about TAAT Global Alternatives, you can message me directly as well. I'm your host of the most, your boy Rich from Rich to Be Live, talking about TAAT Global Alternatives. Hopefully you enjoyed this update with the founder, Joe Deighan. Thank you very much for your time. This is Rich from Rich to Be Live.